Hi guys, we're going to start our lesson today with an activity to focus on conjunctions. So I'd like to read some sentences to you and I want to see if you can spot the conjunction in the sentence. Make sure you've got a piece of paper and a pencil to write down the conjunction. So the first one says, James stared at the peach and he couldn't believe his eyes. What's the conjunction in that sentence? So in this sentence, the conjunction, the word that joins, is and. The first bit says, James stared at the peach. The second bit says, he couldn't believe his eyes. So and joins those two sentences together. And that's a coordinated conjunction. Let's look at the next one. It grew and it grew until it could grow no more. That's what he thought anyway. Where's the conjunction there? In this sentence, the conjunction is until. It grew and it grew would make sense by itself. It could grow no more doesn't make sense by itself, but until is a joining word to join them together. Now, because it doesn't make sense by itself, that's not a coordinated conjunction, that is a subordinated conjunction. And this sentence is just a simple sentence to throw you. Let's look at the last one. If the peach grows any bigger, it might explode. Where's the conjunction in that sentence? Okay, like we learned about before, a conjunction doesn't have to go in the middle of a sentence. It can go to start the sentence. If the peach grows any bigger, it might explode. It might explode would make sense by itself. If the peach grows any bigger, doesn't make sense by itself, so if is used as a subordinated conjunction, and it's used at the beginning of the sentence there. Let's move on to the main part of today's lesson now. We're going to write today from a character's point of view. So we're going to read another chapter of James and the Giant Peach, and then we're going to think about one of the characters' points of view. So we could think about James, Aunt Sponge, Aunt Spiker, or if there are any other characters we might meet, we could think about their points of view as well. To be successful today, we're going to see if we can remember key events from the story that I'm going to read to you. We're going to consider how a different character might be feeling. We're going to see if we can consider the tone used for the character's point of view. The tone is about the way that that character would be speaking. So obviously we know that James seems like quite a nice character. Aunt Sponge and Aunt Spiker don't seem very nice, so maybe the tone, the way they'd speak would be different. And we're going to of course see if we can up-level our vocabulary choices. So, we're going to have a go at reading chapter 6 now. And remember, we haven't read chapters 2, 3, 4 or 5, but if you enjoyed chapter 1 the other day, and if you enjoyed chapter 6 today, then maybe you might choose to read this book in your own free time.
Chapter 6. Sponge! Sponge! Come here at once and look at this. At what? It's a peach, Aunt Spiker was shouting. A what? A peach, right up there on the highest branch. Can't you see it? I think you must be mistaken, my dear Spiker. That miserable tree never has any peaches on it. There's one on it now, Sponge. You look for yourself. You're teasing me, Spiker. You're making my mouth water on purpose when there's nothing to put into it. Why, that tree's never even had a blossom on it, let alone a peach. Right up there on the highest branch, you say? I can't see a thing. Very funny. Ha ha. Good gracious me. Well, I'll be blowed. There really is a peach up there. A nice big one too, Aunt Spiker said. A beauty, Aunt Sponge cried out. At this point, James slowly put down his chopper and turned to look at across to the two women who were standing underneath the peach tree. Something is about to happen, he told himself. Something peculiar is about to happen at any moment. He hadn't the faintest idea what it might be, but he could feel it in his bones that something was going to happen soon. He could feel it in the air around him, in the sudden stillness that had fallen upon the garden. James tiptoed a little closer to the tree. The aunts were still talking now. The aunts were not talking now. They were just standing there, staring at the peach. There was not a sound anywhere, not even a breath of wind, and overhead the sun blazed down upon them out of the deep blue sky. It looks ripe to me, Aunt Spiker said, breaking the silence. Then why don't we eat it? Aunt Sponge suggested, licking her thick lips. We can have half each. Hey you, James, come over here at once and climb this tree. James came running over. I want you to pick that peach up there. On the highest branch, Aunt Sponge went on. Can you see it? Yes, Auntie Sponge, I can see it. And don't you dare eat any of it yourself. Your Aunt Spiker and I are going to have it between us, right here and now, half each. Get on with you. Up you go. James crossed over to the tree trunk. "Stop!" Aunt Spiker said quickly. "Hold everything!" She was staring up into the branches with her mouth wide open and her eyes bulging as though she had seen a ghost. "Look," she said. "Look, Sponge, look!" "What's the matter with you?" Aunt Sponge demanded. "It's growing," Aunt Spiker cried. "It's getting bigger and bigger." "What is?" "The peach, of course." "You're joking." "Well, look for yourself." "But my dear Spiker, that's perfectly ridiculous. That's impossible. That's... Now wait just a minute. No, that can't be right. No, yes. Great Scott. The thing really is growing. It's nearly twice as big already, Aunt Spiker shouted. It can't be true. It is true. It must be a miracle. Watch it, watch it. I am watching it. Great heavens alive, Aunt Spiker yelled. I can actually see the thing bulging and swelling before my very eyes.
So here's some questions for you to think about now. What happened in that chapter? What did the different characters think about the event of finding the peach? Were they all thinking the same thing, or were maybe Aunt Sponge and Aunt Spiker thinking something different from James? Would James's opinion be different from his aunt's opinion? So the way that he thinks about it, would that be different from the way that Aunt Sponge and Aunt Spiker think? If you're not sure, pause the video and have a think. And now we're going to use our ideas that we thought about to write our own task. We're going to be writing a recount of the events that have just happened in that chapter, but we're going to do it from Aunt Spiker's point of view. So we're not thinking about what James would be thinking, we're thinking about what Aunt Spiker would be thinking. And we know that she's going to be thinking it very differently than James would be thinking. I've written an example of what she might be thinking. So I've said, that nasty rotten boy just won't stop disturbing my beauty rest. Sure, he found a peach at the top of the peach tree, but couldn't he just tell Aunt Sponge instead? It's not like he could even be useful and fetch it, because he's so weedy and small. However, I did think it was especially strange when it started to grow. So all of that is from Aunt Spiker's point of view. James wouldn't be writing in that tone, but Aunt Spiker would be writing a diary in that tone. So her recount of the events would be very different from James's. Your task is to see if you can write the recount of events from Aunt Spiker's point of view. When you've done that, come back to this video and see if you can do your self-assessment. So today, our objective was to write as a character. For our next step, did you remember key events from the story? Did you consider how the character of Aunt Spiker might be feeling? Did you consider the tone for that character's point of view, the way that the character would speak? And did you up-level your vocabulary choices? What could you do to make your writing even better next time? As usual, I'd love to see some of your work uploaded onto DB Primary, and if you need any help at all, then feel free to send me an email or a message on DB Primary.